Yes, sir. Welcome back to another Trap or Die film session. I am your host of the Trap or Die podcast, Molly Maul, Coach Maul, Hen Dog Maul, all that good stuff, man. And listen, we are here to tap into the defense, man. The Washington Commanders defensive line, defense altogether dominated the Arizona Cardinals up front. And honestly, they really had a good day overall throughout the entire day. If you all saw the post-game podcast with AJ Dre and myself on one of the bigger issues or bigger subjects that we talked about when it came to the defense was like, was it up to par coming out the gate against Arizona in their debut? And honestly, I think it was. Now, some people disagree. AJ and Dre disagreed a little bit, but I'm like to the point of when you see these guys play and perform, there wasn't much you can really have issues with, except for the fact that they didn't capitalize on some of the turnovers that Josh Dobbs threw their way. But this film session is going to break down what they did up front in the trenches and how quick and smart they played throughout the game and how it affected the Arizona Cardinals defense, or excuse me, their offense. But without further ado, before we get started, like, subscribe, and now let's get into the film session. All right, starting with the first play of the game, actually, for the defensive side of the football. Jamin Davis, man, had a really good game from a run game standpoint. Honestly, they did a good job, the Commanders' defensive coordinator and defense, like limiting his exposure in the pass game. But when it comes to the front seven of the defense, like you're seeing right here, right, James Smith-Williams on the edge, the right side of the line, being able to maintain his integrity or his gap integrity and pressing. Who is that? Whichever tight end that is, I can't see. Maybe was at the tackle. Yeah, the left tackle. And Jamin Davis having the speed to beat that pulling or that climbing offensive lineman against the edge to force that 1 yard loss, right? By the way, the Washington Commanders all day had several tackles for losses, and I want to say they had 15 negative yard plays. The Arizona Cardinals did on that Sunday. So I think for what it's worth, if you want to debate if the Commanders didn't look up to par against the Arizona Cardinals, the bigger picture suggests that they do. And that they did. Next up is a series or a rep from James Smith-Williams, man. He's at the bottom of your screen, right under Benjamin St-Juste. And in this instance, again, another case of smart football, right? So he sniffs out that screenplay, but if you look on from this angle, the end zone angle, right, you'll be able to see James Smith-Williams first off press up and block Ertz for a second or hold him for a second. But he's holding him as he's making his way to the quarterback because he doesn't know what's behind him, right? He doesn't know where his defensive back is to help because they're in a man coverage, I think cover one, I believe. So somebody has Zach Ertz, but James is holding him to the point where if he does release, whoever is in the secondary can come and get their guy. But now at that point, if you all pay close attention, you'll see that James, as he's making his way to the quarterback, is still holding on to Ertz, which is a heady, smart football play as he sees Dobbs is making his way back towards Ertz. So ultimately, let's look at it from the other angle now. You're able to get the bigger picture. You see what James Smith-Williams is able to do, sniff out that screen, and then Derek Forrest in that man coverage situation crash and make a play on Ertz for another tackle for loss on that one. This was one of my favorite plays from the defensive line as a unit. I loved it. So you'll see that the Cardinals is trying to sniff that screen out. And shout out to, I believe that is Cam Curl on the edge, I want to say. Let me double check. No, this is Barton. I'm sorry. But Barton, you see that he's engaged with the offensive tackle that's pulling out for the screen. But what Barton does instinctively is get to the outside, get as far as outside as possible so he can send and force James Conner back inside where his help is. And the entire defensive line is on Conner, right? Starts with Deron Payne, who chases him down initially. Montez Sweat. Let's look at where Montez Sweat is when the ball is thrown, right? Look, he's at the quarterback, midfield, center logo. Deron Payne, logo. John Allen, logo. James Smith-Williams on the opposite side at the logo. And look at where they are when they get to Conner. They're all on Conner. James Smith-Williams, Montez Sweat cleans up the play that Deron Payne and Cody Barton initially makes. Excellent play. Like, they were juiced up from the jump, man. Their motor was going. Like, it was as good as it gets in this instance. There's another angle of it. That's excellent football. Another play from the defensive line, man. Deron Payne showing out. Now, granted, he didn't make. Was it this one? Yeah, he missed the tackle on this one. He had a couple plays where he made in the backfield and just couldn't finish it by making the tackle of his own. You saw actually on the screen he was able to, initially start the force inside, but slipped at the point of contact. But again, Deron Payne, man, quickness at the line of scrimmage, quickness to shed that block, right, get under it and force that left guard off balance or right guard off balance as he's able to defend the draw initially, right? Jamin Davis cleans it up for him. Again, I said Jamin Davis had a really good day. I don't think I seen him miss a tackle at all today. In traffic and open space, I didn't see him miss a tackle at all. Backside pursuit, like it was really good from Jamin Davis. Next play, Deron Payne making another play, 2nd and 6. You see they're coming out in 13 personnel. The Arizona Cardinals are the defense matches that with their 5-man front. Somebody has to make a play, right? The defensive line does, Deron Payne does, and he's able to get some quick penetration at the point of attack. Again, we showed that quickness, right? Look, Deron is making 75% of the play, right? Just wrap up and don't let that man shed you like that. But at the end of the day, you see what happens when you can cause havoc right there and disrupt the play. Able to get in the backfield again. And everybody's there. Like, mind you, Montez Sweat is winning at the point of attack. They have a tight end trying to block him, and he's able to force the running back inside. Right, everybody else is there. You got 1, 2, 3. You got 4 white uniforms at the football. Let's go ahead and get back to it. Four white uniforms at the football. 5, really. Jamin Davis right there too. Like, they're there. Jamin Davis. Look, smart play right here. Getting dirty, getting his hands dirty in the trenches, playing his gap sound as possible. Right. You see that pulling lineman, meet him at the hole. Right. You got Jonathan Allen playing the 3 technique, so he has the gap in between the tackle and the guard. But once he sees that John Allen commands that double team, he automatically goes to that pulling guard, and that it's 2 pulling guards, mind you, 2 pulling linemen. He meets 1 in the hole, stands his ground, right, limits it to like a 2-yard gain, I believe. So Jamin, again, playing this sound and just saying the defensive front, like the front 7, the front 6, however you want to call it, because of the Buffalo nickel and all this other stuff. But being able to play that well in the trenches, from gap integrity to maintaining your ground at the point of attack, it was a common theme from quarter 1 to quarter 4. As we start getting to some of the sacks, right, or one of the sacks to start with, while the defensive line, and this is the focus, like the front 7 or the defensive front for Washington, the coverage sack is where things start with Montez Sweat's great day. But you'll see they're playing a cover 2 man, right? And everybody's locked up initially, right? They get tangled up by the 30-yard line, but at that point, Dobbs is starting to look for ways to create with his legs. So them getting tangled up doesn't really mean anything. Initially, everything was covered for the first 2.5 seconds, right? But now you see where Montez Sweat wins and closes the play for Washington. And we'll show the end zone angle as well. But he tries that long arm at first, right? And Paris Johnson, a rookie out of Ohio State, does a good job initially while he's still giving up some ground, right? But one of the makings of rushers is having counter moves, secondary moves, terry, that's the word. I don't know, but like 3 moves, having a developed rush plan. Let's just make it simple, right? And you see that long arm is there, but once he notices that he can utilize another move to beat Parrish, right? He pulls him down, knocks him off balance. And at the same time that he knocks him off balance, you're not going to be able to see it that clearly on this angle. But if you pay attention, like maybe rewind this a couple times for you, but you're able to see on that outside arm, he pulls and swipes that outside arm. You see it kind of move down a little bit, right? So you're seeing how he's able to win on that secondary move from Sweat. And the arm length is important as well, because without that arm length, you're not getting to Dobbs as he tries to run past you. But Montez Sweat does have the arm length. Great play. We move forward. Even the presence of Percy Butler stands out in the run game as well. That was a 4-yard gain from James Conner, but as you'll see, right, he's able to get to the edge. But first off, shout out to Barton, because Barton shoots that gap, right? We talked about how some of these defensive linemen are taking up double teams or occupying a gap. He's able to see that John Ridgeway occupies both the center and the right guard for the Arizona Cardinals, and Cody Barton fills that gap, forcing Conner to bounce outside. And James Smith-Williams is in position, but he's unable to really get to James Conner as he blows past him. So here you have Percy Butler. I'm going to just let it play out. You'll see it. Just his speed, being able to close that space so quickly. Obviously, Kendall Fuller's on the outside, and he's going to make a play too. But you see the speed from Percy Butler coming into effect for the run game of the Commanders, or the run defense for the Commanders. Here we have I love this sequence for Washington. Mind you, these next 3 plays that I'm going to show you is a 3-play sequence where Washington is trailing 15-10, I believe. They need to make a play, or the defense needs to step up, find a way to help this offense out. And these next 3 series of plays is what really sets things off for the team altogether. But you see, first play, Deron Payne is facing a combo block, right? But with his quickness and his use of hands, he's able to quickly get off the line with his quickness and get the right tackle off balance with a swim move right to the outside shoulder, and then get back in his gap. So he beats him and then gets back in his gap in the path of the running back, right? And secures the tackle for loss on this play. This is your first down play for the Arizona Cardinals, their drive. And the first thing you do is get them with a TFL. The very next play, meet me in the backfield, James Smith-Williams and John Allen said, right? Both of them collide at the quarterback for another TFL. But you have James Smith-Williams, right, accurately reading the mesh point quickly as well. Like, this is a quick processing point. He sees that Josh Dobbs doesn't do a really good job at selling anything, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't even know that John Allen has already won. But James Smith-Williams does a really good job both occupying the running back and the quarterback before figuring out who has the football, right? Processing at the mesh point, his assignment, making sure his assignment is done correctly before crashing at the quarterback. So he does a really good job here. But then you see Jonathan Allen, right, at the snap, explosive burst at the snap, splitting the gap, right, beating the double team from the center and the tackle, right, and making a play in the backfield too. 2 straight TFLs for Washington on a critical drive where the offense really couldn't get anything established to this point in the game. And then they close this drive out on a 3rd and long, right? And you'll see exactly what happens. Montez Sweat wins on the edge, gets the strip sack. Deron Payne recovers. And now Washington's back in the business offensively, and they don't look back from there in terms of the lead. There you go. But let's run this back one more time, matter of fact. You kind of see this ain't really nothing special in terms of pass rush moves, right? This is just a physical rush. He's able to turn the corner, dip his shoulder just a little bit, get under Beachum. I think that's Beachum. Either way, get under 74 and finish at the quarterback. Clutch play. Great game for Montez Sweat, man. He deserves 1,000 game balls for how he performed against the Arizona Cardinals. Montez Sweat, again, this is actually the very next play, defensive play after his strip sack, right? Arm length, we talked about that earlier at one point of this film session. But then you look at what he does at the point of contact, or excuse me, at the edge to secure his edge, right? First off, he's backside, right? So it's not necessarily going to him anyway. They're trying to run a trap play, or what looks like a trap play. But you see Cody, Jonathan Allen, and 92. We ain't gonna worry about his name right now. It's blanking off the top of my head for me, right? But you see all 3 of them holding at the point of attack. Barton's able to beat 65 and get inside the gap to fill. Now he's trying to attempt to bounce outside the running back is. But you have Montez Sweat, whose arm length is crazy, but also he has good foot speed and pursuit ability to not let you beat him anyway. So all excellent situational football for Montez Sweat, just maintaining his side as a backside defender, and being prepared just in case he does bounce it outside. And James Conner sure enough did, and Montez Sweat was right there for it. All right, the last 2 plays that I want to show you all from the Commanders' day, man, starts with James Smith-Williams in the backfield. This was an incredible play. Now he doesn't finish it. Emmanuel Forbes finishes it, but you see his ability to first beat the crack, right? The crack attempt on a pin pull type of situation for for Arizona. But he's able to beat that block, right? Get in the backfield to initially cause that havoc and slow that running back down, right? Because he is able to slow him down, that running back has to now make an extra move to try and get around the corner and get upfield. But now you have Emmanuel Forbes in this situation who uses his instincts, right, and his speed and quickness on the edge to beat that tackle. Get under that block attempt, that tackle completely whiffs, right? You'll see him try to extend that arm and miss. And there goes Emmanuel Forbes right there to make a play. Excellent play from Emmanuel Forbes. Excellent play from James Smith-Williams. Here's another angle for you. Lastly, we close out with the captain, man, Jonathan Allen, with a funny yet incredible sack. He tries his hump move, right? And he does get penetration in the backfield on his hump move. He starts with a little arm swipe, right? But as soon as that tackle or guard decides to wrap him, he gets right underarm and just holds on to him, drives into the backfield till he locates that. You see that head nod? He locates the quarterback right there and fills him. So at this point, he fills him and just says, I'm going to swing my arm back there and hope for the best. I think you all seen post-game or heard post-game that John didn't even know he had the football or not, but it worked out for him. His arm strength or his play strength is able to just knock Dobbs on his ass, and there you go, you get your sack. There was several other things to like about what the Commanders defense did against the Arizona Cardinals, but it started up front with that defensive line. The defensive line, Montez Sweat, said off rip after the game that he expects these guys to make plays. He expects these guys to take over. Ron Rivera said that he expects the defense to carry the offense until the offense can catch up a little bit. Like, there's so many different factors for Washington in terms of why they were able to be dominant on the defense side of football. Now, granted, the turnovers will make this performance much better. And there were some smaller mistakes as well throughout the game, but it wasn't mistakes to the point where they were a trend or that they really hurt the defense or the team altogether. So it's worth noting those, but it's not worth highlighting those because it wasn't nothing in particular that really doomed this defense. It was a very good day from the unit altogether. The secondary played well as well. So yeah, it was something to really be happy for and look forward to moving forward and seeing how they play against the other teams such as a Buffalo or maybe in the Philadelphia on the road. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But for now, that's gonna wrap up this film session, man. If you haven't done so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, see you next time, man. Peace.
Chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Damn, set, watch him throw the ball, man. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.